A Starstruck Podcast.
I'm a warrior.
Welcome to A Starstruck Podcast, where resilience meets reality, and every setback sparks a comeback.
When I jumped, my kneecap literally broke in half.
Ended up finding out, tore my ACL.
I tear my ACL at my highest point up to this point.
I took a wrong step, hurt my knee.
My ankle was turned the complete wrong direction.
Because I have Tourette syndrome.
That season propelled me to being first-round draft pick.
Our podcast dives deep into the untold stories of athletes who've battled career-threatening injuries, adversity, addiction.
The alcohol at the time wasn't helping my rehab process.
What if this is happening because it's helping me further down the line, as you explained? That perspective shift really helped me a lot.
Depression, ego, and financial struggle.
Having a support system, that was huge for me.
No, man, I've come too far to let this be my story.
Always work hard, always prepare, and you never know when it's going to be your time to shine.
Got at 10 o'clock at night, all right, I'm there.
When Tamika Catchings went down with an Achilles tendon injury last season, Carlos Knox played a major role in her rehabilitation.
Having nurse support, and then, of course, having you.
And came out stronger. A Starstruck Podcast, hosted by Carlos Knox. A Starstruck Podcast, back at it once again, bringing you the best content. I have one of my favorite coaches in Matt Painter at the University of Purdue. The 17 NCAA appearances under his belt. He's a 5-time Big Ten Coach of the Year, National Coach of the Year, 493 career wins, all right, over 21 seasons. Indiana Hall of Fame, and a 4-year player under Gene Katie. Now, to be honest, it's so many other things we could say. All right, this guy has an accolade list. It just goes too long for us to even talk. But I just wanted to make sure that I, let you guys know exactly who this was and welcome him to the show. How you doing, Coach?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Great to see you. Great to see you. So, what's been going on here in Lafayette?
Oh, just. You kind of finish up with your season, trying to prepare, trying to accurately assess what you need. I think a lot of moving parts. So, who's staying, who's moving, what we need. I thought we needed more of a physicality, a better rebounding team than we had last year, and we were able to do that. We needed some more depth in our backcourt, more competition more than anything. I think when that gets down, and you get into the portal, you get a lot of guys talking about their role and their minutes, and winning's important, right? Mm-hmm. Winning's and so a lot of things in the portal and in a lot of transactions, winning gets lost, and I don't want winning to get lost in anything that we do. And trying to get the right pieces to go with a lot of great returners. Like we have 2 guys returning that were all Americans. We got the best shooter in the country, best point guard in the country, guy that made the most field goals in the country, and that's 3 people. So being able to have that nucleus to work around, we feel fortunate to have that, because not everybody does. A lot of people are losing very, very talented players as they search out what they're looking for. What these guys are searching out for is winning a national championship.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And hope they take me along with them.
Sure.
You have to really meet a great coach with bad players yet, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And but to have Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, and Trey Kaufman-Wren, we're blessed, and that's our nucleus. And the other guys that we have returning, we have some young guys, some freshmen morphing into sophomores, and that's always a big jump. And then we've added a couple guys in the portal. We've added a couple high school guys. So,
all right, just looking at everything from a basketball coaching standpoint is beautiful. Okay, from a coaching standpoint, what would you say? And personal, it could be personal or coaching. What would you say your star being struck moment?
Yeah. So for me, it was my dad. My dad went to the Rose Bowl the last time Indiana won, didn't win, but they got into the Rose Bowl and they played USC and O.J. Simpson. My dad went to the Final Four in 1976 and 81 in the Palestra in Philadelphia. He took me in 87 when Indiana won it all down Louisiana. So, like, we grew up, like from a basketball standpoint, well, we grew up loving Indiana. We grew up hating Purdue, too. It goes hand in hand.
Okay, of course.
And so when I went to get recruited, I signed in the spring, and Purdue called. And I told my dad, I said, man, I ain't going to Purdue. Talking like I'm 18, right? I hate Purdue. Exact words. My dad says, all right, let me explain something to you. He said, this is a business decision. You don't do what you want to do. You do what's best for you. And I'll never forget, I use it to this day with our guys, with everybody, because we all do in life sometimes what we want to do. If what you want to do and what's best for you is the same thing, that's perfect. It's a perfect storm. And so, like, that was, like, key for me because I didn't really pick Purdue. I picked Gene Cady. And he left my family room then. They used to do the home visits back then.
Yes.
He left my family room, and we had an Indiana stained glass window in the back of where everybody used to walk, in the back of my house. People didn't walk in the front of my house. It was an old house, and the doors all messed up. But we only had one bathroom, and that bathroom was an Indiana bathroom. It had Indiana wallpaper. It had Bob Knight's picture. It had Lee Corso's picture. It had the 87 team statue. You'd flush the toilet, the fight song. We turned that off. But we didn't want them going in that bathroom. But it was an old house. We had one bathroom downstairs, one bathroom upstairs. We had steep stairs. We weren't going to make them walk up them stairs either. They didn't use the restroom. So it was cool. I kept my scholarship. But at the end of the day, like, I just liked Coach Cady. And when he walked out that door, you know, back then they didn't make you stay in the summer. Everybody made you stay in the summer. Like, you just didn't. Like, you leaving second semester, like, you come back first semester. It'd be 3 months later. Like, hey, man, how's your summer? Like, now everybody stays in the summer. You play together. You work together. Well, this is the late 80s. It was just kind of shifting at that time. I'm 54 now, so I'm showing my age a little bit. And, like, he just said, hey, you're going to stay in the summer. Go home for a couple weeks. You're going to stay for 2 months. You can go home for a couple weeks. You'll come back. He goes, you're going to go to summer school. If you don't go to summer school, you're going to get a job. You need to learn to wake up in the morning and go to school. Wake up in the morning, go to work. He goes, successful people wake up in the morning. And I'm like, damn. Like, this dude, the other teams in other schools didn't say this. So he walks out there and said, Dad, man, I ain't feeling him. Like, I ain't feeling all that. He says, that's the only dude that walked in here and told you the truth. I was like, what? He goes, hey, man, I'm not going to pick it for you, but that man right there told you the truth. Now, this guy here got a undergrad from Indiana. He got a judicial degree from Indiana. His dad got an undergrad from Indiana, got a medical degree from Indiana. His brother got 2 degrees. I can keep going. Like we're in there thick now, right? And Indiana hadn't offered me. He wanted me to go to prep school for a year, then he was going to take me. And right there, that kind of opened my eyes to stuff. Then I go on the visit, and Coach Cady's really direct. And he's like, you like Indiana and you like Coach Knight. He goes, let me tell you something about him. He just said, he gives money to the Red Cross. He gives money to the library. He just says, he doesn't cheat. He just says, he wins big. He just goes, Bob Knight's got a lot of really good qualities. He just goes, and you want to go play for him and you want to go there and do that. And he goes, that makes me want to have you more because you want to win and you want to do things the right way. He just flipped it real quick, right? I didn't realize it because I never recruited in my life. But he just kind of flipped it on me. And when he flipped it, like, and kind of said that, I was like, man, I like this dude. Like, I like him. He's straightforward. He goes, now, with that being said, he don't want you and I do. So why don't you come here and we'll go kick their ass? I was like, man, that's a smart dude right there. Like, he was. So as we go forward and, like, I play for him and I had a great relationship with him, I wanted to coach for him. I wanted to be his coach and be one of his assistants. And 3 different times that assistant job came up, I tried to get it. Now, one of them was right as I got done, which I had no business of coaching then. Like, I was too close to those players, and that wouldn't have been a good thing for anybody. But then I didn't get the job a couple other times. I was like disappointed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I wanted or whatever. But I never said anything to him. I I'd thank him for considering me and like whatever, but I was like deep down, like, man, I was hurt. I was like, man, I can help you. I know I can help you. And that's all I wanted to do. And so then when they named me assistant coach, head coach in waiting, that was always my line. My line was always like, I wasn't good enough to be an assistant here, but I'm good enough to be the head coach. You know, kind of half joking, but kind of half serious. But I've always wanted to be like him. I've never wanted to be better than him. I've always wanted to be like him. Like I always liked the way like he went about stuff. Like he was kind of like he was like a man's man. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was tough. He was hard-nosed. He had a hell of a way of ripping your ass and telling you you're okay in the same sentence. I'd be like, damn. Like, is he going to fight me or is he going to hug me?
Right.
Like, what is it here? But like he just had that way and you believed him. Like you believed him. Like he would always be talking about stuff and like he had a way of like circling back and making it relate to us. You know, just like he did that with like he gave Coach Knight in Indiana their just due. He gave him that respect. He gave him that stuff. Well, he knew deep down I was an Indiana fan and he had to sway me. He was not a dumb person. But then he was like, he don't want you. And I want you. And once you come here and we'll go kick their ass. I was like, boy, I like that. I like that right
You signed that day?
I signed like about 3 or 4 days after that.
Yeah, but that was your decision.
So I visited Minnesota,
made.
I visited Michigan State, and I visited there. So Coach Izzo recruited me as an assistant at Michigan State. A guy named Silas McKinney was the assistant at Minnesota. I talk to him to this day. We text still to this day.
Yeah.
So he was a good dude, man. I really like Silas. And but no, there was Coach Majerus was at Ball State, and I was in Muncie. I was not staying in Muncie, Indiana.
Muncie, Indiana.
Yeah. No, sir. Woo. I was moving on from that, and then I told him. So like Jim Cruz had recruited me really hard at Evansville. Probably the biggest wow moment I've ever had in college, and I've been in college, you know, for a long time here. I'm going on 37 years. So when I'm a senior in high school, I visit Evansville early. Only school I visited early. And they were really good at the time. And I go there, they breaking down practice, they're doing stuff. I liked everything about it. I wanted to play in the Big Ten though, but I didn't like how small the school was. Like but I thought, man, this is perfect for me basketball wise. And it was. So I probably commit to him. I'm young, right? But my dad's not with me. And it gets back, and my dad's like, okay, there's no problem with that. But you said you wanted to play in the Big Ten. You said you wanted to play at a bigger school, like all these things. And so they call back, and my dad calls them and just says, hey, he's going to wait till the spring. Like he's going to do like this. And they were like, well, we don't know if we can wait and all that stuff. And you have to with that. You know, you got to leverage it at that lower level because now you just got to weigh the risk and reward. And it got down to where like they're like, okay, whatever. About a month later, 2 months later, like they invite me to a game, probably longer than that. And they're playing Dayton. There was a guard on Dayton's team named Nigel Knight.
Nigel Knight, Detroit.
Yeah.
I'm from Dayton.
Okay, gotcha. So played at Dayton.
Yeah.
Played about 5 years. I think it was with the Suns. Played 5 years in the NBA. So before the game, him and another guy go to the officials. And I'm sitting on the bench. I'm down there at the end of the bench. And there was a guy named Mark Jewell that was Mr. Basketball from Lafayette Jeff. He had transferred from Iowa. He was sitting down. So I'm sitting down there talking to him. I'm like, what are they doing? He says, they're down there talking about the illegal screens because Coach Cruz had ran the motion like Coach Knight, and they were screening. Well, Scott Hafner was Evansville's best player.
Scott.
So he's sitting down there, and he just said, hey, man, he just says they're down there because Hafner's been killing. He says, like, last couple practices, he goes, when I say he hasn't missed, he hadn't missed. So I'm like, all right, cool. I go, so they're over there complaining to the officials, and the game hadn't started. He goes, well, you watch. He goes, he hadn't missed here in the last couple of days. I'm like, all right, cool. So I get my halves mixed up, but Scott Hafner scored 65. Damn. Yes, sir. I saw it. I was like, but before the game, Jim Cruz brings me in and says, all right, man, I know you like us here and we're good. He goes, we got no one to take Scott Hafner's place. You just watch how we use Scott Hafner. That's how we're going to use you the next year. And the dude gets 65 points. So I don't know if he gets I think he gets 30 in the first half. He might have got 35 in the first half. But I remember going into halftime going, man, I don't know if somebody can play better in a game. A 6'4" guard. He's like 11 for 14 from 3 total. So there's half his points, right? I don't know any other stats off the top of my head, but I'm like, man, I can't play. He gets 35 in the second half.
Damn.
65, 6'4" guard. And I was like, I saw Glenn Robinson get on some heaters, but I've never seen that. Like, that's the most impressive thing I've seen. Like, I saw Carson Edwards hit 10 threes in an NCAA tournament game. That was impressive.
Hell yeah, we all seen that.
Yeah, that was impressive just because of the stage, right? I mean, he about single-handedly took us to the Final Four. Like, that was, like, there, like that. And that got him as high as he could get in that draft.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he had to leave, in my opinion.
For sure.
He had to. But, like, that's kind of like the wow moment. I was there, like, this dude thinks that I can be him next year, which I couldn't have. But hell, it was a good sale. But I was like, that was the most impressive. And I'd never seen Scott Hafner again until last summer. And I walked up and told him that story. So I don't know if you know this, but I was a recruit at that game, and this is what he said about you. This is what he said that, you know, and then you had that, and like he didn't have anything to really add or anything like that. It's humbling, right? Like it's like one of those things. Like, damn, like
that's super humbling.
Yeah, 65 points.
Oof. And you were sitting there to watch it.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, I can go to Evansville. It was a sellout. I mean, it was an unbelievable college game. It was they had a really good team. Evansville had a really good team, and that league was good back then.
Yes,
I don't know if it was a Metro or what it was, but it was a really good league.
Absolutely. You speak of Braden Smith. Obviously, we have a relationship. I know his parents. I know him very well. Just being young in Westfield, I had the opportunity to be around him and his parents. The evolution of Braden is just, I mean, it's impressive, as well as I don't know if I thought he would be at the level he is now.
Right.
You know, because as a youngster, he had a very high IQ. But, you know, I didn't know he would be where he is now.
Yeah, more athletic than you think he is. Long arms, big hands. Obviously, he's always been a great passer, very competitive. You know, his mojo is really that competitive spirit that he has. I always say that his passion and his mojo, like his kryptonite, is his emotion. Like, he needs to be more passionate and less emotional. When things go right, man, he really builds that. And then sometimes, like, he gets in little ruts. And those have really diminished through his career. But, like, it never goes away. Like, you know, whatever your personality is and how you are, like, you know, you have to learn to get to your strengths more. And I think that's what he said. We've asked him to shoot more. And last year he did. Now he needs to be a little bit more efficient and shoot a little bit better, but not get away from it after he misses a couple.
Of course.
I think he's, you know, when you deal with guys that can really, really score, that doesn't enter their mind. That's not who he is. He's a quintessential point guard. He wants to set up. He'd be perfectly happy with 15 assists and 8 points. Perfectly happy. But at times when you face elite people, he's going to have to score the basketball for us. Just whatever the game presents, right? And that's when you have his ability and his intellect, whatever the game presents is a good approach. And sometimes with guys that don't have that, they want you to put you in that role and do those things. And he's earned his way into that role.
Absolutely.
And so, like, you know, trust is a two-way street, but his ability to find people and pass the basketball, and that just sets a tone. Anytime you have a special player that's always looking for other people, that gets contagious. And now if everybody's sharing the juices and everybody's getting the basketball when they should be getting the basketball, and it's hard, right? When you get down to, like I mentioned, 3 guys right there, and those are our 3 most usage guys, but Fletcher Lawyer can really, really shoot, and then there's sometimes we go stretches where he doesn't get, you know, touch or a shot, and but the other guys are doing their thing, right? When you get to be that 3rd guy, it gets hard, but it gets impossible for that 4th and 5th guy. And then they're always like, well, where do I go? How do I get about, like, it's like, well, you're going to play off of them. And I think that's something that we've been able to do, and PJ Thompson has been at the forefront of that. He's done a great job with our offense, is understanding like who our guys are. When you go into a season and you don't quite know that piece of it, that's going to be really hard because that's a big statement there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you've got like 4 or 5 guys that you can get in 2 or 3, roles like that, then, you should feel blessed because everybody just doesn't have 4 or 5 guys that can really, really score.
How do you do such a great job of keeping them together from a practice standpoint? I mean, those are a lot of different talents. Obviously, you have to deal with it on the coaching level of how to get them to mesh.
Right.
And then the days of the transfer portal and people coming in and out, we're going to talk about that, how impressive it is that you're able to keep your guys intact and don't have a lot of turnover. But the first question is, how do you get them to really understand their roles as well as mesh early?
Yeah, just, in the summer, like we practice. We don't do workouts. Our workouts are with our GAs, graduate managers, how everybody kind of circumvents that rule. For guys to work out, I always have former players as our GAs because I want them to be there, to be able to help them. I always talk about in their workouts, there's like 2 things to keep like really important is like what gets you on the court and what gets you off the court. And it's simple, and you really don't understand it until you don't play as much as you want. Like then that hits home. You're like, okay, if we're going to go shoot for 45 minutes, but shooting has nothing to do with me getting on the court, and that's going to be like my strength, like let's work on some things that I'm not very good at for about 10 minutes, whatever.
Sense.
Yeah, and so like you're building, up there, and so like you understand like this is what we're going to do. But when it comes down to our practices is that I really don't handcuff them in those practices in the summer. Like, you have to have the ability to show what you've worked on, the ability, the improvements that you've made. I'm not going to just go put you in a box in the summer. I am going to put you in a box when the season starts if you haven't put yourself in that position.
Of course.
So give them the opportunity to do it. If you can handle the basketball and make decisions, that's going to come out. Can you pass? Is that going to come out? Like how you work with other guys, who you can play with, that's going to come out. And so like now when you first start, I'd never put that on somebody. It's so hard. Like you're just taking the new vernacular, a new system, just a lot of things to take in. But I do put that on you when you go into your sophomore year. If you're not making adjustments and you're not understanding like, your competition right now is going to lead to your opportunities after being with us for a year, that's when it's like, hey man, like, you got to get that figured out. Exactly. So like we really try to tell them at that time, like, hey, like this is yours. And I know you want to do more, but if doing more to a strength, then great. But if you're doing more what you want to do, but it's not a strength, you're just not going to be productive, and you're not going to be efficient, and you're not going to look good. And so like be careful, like know who you are. And if you know who you are, and if and you can do a lot of things, then have at it. But if you can't, like now we start those conversations saying, hey, we've done this for a year and a half now. We're here, and this is starting the season. And if like you can't go over your left shoulder at all in the post, don't go over your left shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, and so like whatever it might be. So that's a lot of what we do. And even if they don't like it, like be honest with them. And I think that's where we've gotten. We're honest with them in recruiting. We're honest with them when they get there. But we're also trying to be, as diplomatic as we can. We're not trying to crush them, because there is that opening of somebody taking off and improving. Like you play a role as a freshman, some guys leave. That's what was tough about this year. We didn't have a lot of guys. Those 3 guys in that core didn't leave. So it's going to be hard to get in there. You got to figure out, okay, what can I do to get in there? Because really all you want to do is be on the court. Get on the court. If you can get on the court and stay on the court, now those things that you have, they're going to come out.
Yeah. We had the same situation, obviously, for Notre Dame. Like you said, when people have a role, it's very difficult for them to understand that you have to come in and show every single day that I am this player, this is what I represent, this is how I get better. And that leadership aspect, that's what I wanted to talk to you about too, the leadership aspect and just kind of following. I mean, you played the game, I played the game. It's very important for you to lead by example as well as, vocally.
Yes.
And we're having we're having talks with our team as we speak on how to be very strategic but vocal when you're coming in the weight room, when you're playing pickup.
Yeah.
Setting the tone for our workouts.
Yeah.
And making sure that you are that person every single day.
Yeah, it's more or less like, do they understand the big picture of what you want and being purposeful in their actions?
Exactly.
Like, because leadership can go the other way. You can get some people with great leadership abilities, but they don't have great values. Oh, that ship's probably going to sink. Like, you got to have great leadership abilities and have great values and understand. Because really, as an individual player, the really only thing that's important is your value towards winning. Like you just keep it right there. Like, when you start saying, like, I need more shots or I need more of this, like, that could be true. But the big picture is, what are all the things that I control that can help us win better? And when you think along those lines, because that's what I think about as a coach. Like, I don't go back and put things on other people. I put things on myself. Like, man, I got to be able to get this guy involved a little bit more because it's going to help us. Those numbers say so. I always have a line that says, don't expect consistent play from inconsistent minutes. So if some guy gets 8 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 7 minutes, 11 minutes, and that's his 5-game stretch there, like, whatever, don't expect him to shoot 50% from three. Like, don't expect that. Don't expect him to have a great assist-turnover ratio. And also explain that, because the other guys have put themselves in a position, everybody wants to play through their mistakes. Like, everybody does that. But not everybody's going to get to do that. And so, like, put yourself in that position. It kind of gets back to the summer for me. It's like, I'm just a watcher. Like, I sit there and watch. And I just watch. I watch your body language. I watch how you handle stuff. We break things down. So we split our stuff into PJ runs the offense. Sasha Stefanovic runs out of bounds and side out of bounds. Brandon Brantley runs all of our personnel we do for scouting reports. He always starts off every scouting report. Terry Johnson and Paul Lusk split the defensive scouting reports. Then our 2 GAs really help with our defensive guys, because that's the most work, right?
Exactly.
That's the most work. And so, like, now we're just kind of sitting there and we break it down, and those guys have a lot of responsibility, but they know I like doing it that way, so there's not 4 voices when it comes to defense.
Yes.
So you got something to ask, like, go ask Coach T, go ask Paulie, like, talk to those guys. Here's offense, go talk to PJ, like, whatever. And so that now we stay consistent in thought with them.
Of course.
Like, now it's not like, well, this coach kind of thinks this or this. It allows us all to be in the same room, but it's that one voice that really helps those guys. So you don't confuse them. Like,
of course.
They're all players. People have to understand, like, if, like, somebody's in your ear at home or you're reading something on a message boards and then you have 3 coaches saying 3 different things, man, that's confusing.
It is.
But so now, like, you can't control the other part. So, like, you try to get them to block that out, like keep that out. But that's a hard thing to do. And so, like, you're going to kind of be in that position where you're going to read when they say good things about you and you like that. But then you don't want to read the bad things. Well, don't read the good things too.
Right. Which is very difficult. I know exactly what you mean.
And so, like, that piece of it, it's just harder for these guys now, for, like, anybody who's had success, especially at a high level, like an NBA level, like, they receive the most flack. And that's crazy to me. Like, those guys are special. Like, but their everyday life and what they have to deal with, there's a lot of crap that comes with it.
Of course.
And now, like that's the one piece of social media I can't stand, is because, like, winning's hard enough. Winning's just hard. People just think, like, you guys just show up and you win every year, and, like, you think that's easy. It's
furthest from the truth.
Yeah, man, it's so hard, but it's so hard for an individual player. Like some of the crap that, like, our guys have taken, like, Braden takes it because he's 5'11". Zebo took it because he was 7'4". Like, all these guys, like Trey Coffin-Wren wasn't, like, an All-American this year. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy, but it's looking at Purdue, and since these guys aren't McDonald's All-Americans, I guess they can't be that good. Braden Smith doesn't get invited to the point guard camp. He's the best point guard in the country. Like, Zebo can't handle ball screen defense in the NBA. Sure looked like he could to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but, like, the one thing that I thought about Zebo when they did that with him was, I mean, when you watch the playoffs, like nobody watches a real playoff game and says, man, that's kind of a soft game. Mm-hmm. It's physical.
It's on.
It is on. Like it's like gladiator stuff.
Absolutely.
And he's a gladiator. Mm-hmm. Like Andy's a protector. So like he's gonna be there. Like he ain't gonna let anybody mess with Desmond Bain. Mm-mm. He ain't gonna let anybody mess with John Morant. Like he's gonna be there for him. He's gonna rebound at elite level. He's gonna be able to play around the rim. He's gonna change things. He might not get a bunch of blocks, but he changes shots and he's gonna be great. I think he's got a chance to be an all-star if he can get on a team. You know, they have good pieces there. If they can win more, they can get themselves like Western Conference Finals type stuff, because I think then the world will really see like how good of a player he is. But you get a little bit of that at Purdue, where you won't get your just due because Braden Smith's, you know, not a top 100 player coming out of high school.
Of course.
Trey Kaufman-Wren, like, you know, was a top 50, 60 player, but like he wasn't Mr. Basketball or whatever. Like it's kind of foolishness, but like sometimes you go through that. Like we try to channel that to our advantage, and like let's just be great together.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this: so when you're recruiting kids at a high level, obviously to a high level program, and you know, this is more than just an interview. This is coaches talking back and forth because we know exactly what we're looking for when we're observing.
Right.
When you talk about bringing kids to your program, all right, obviously they have to fit your system. They have to be, you know, a certain type, prototype. My question to you is, what are your non-negotiables?
Yeah. You know, we do a lot through personality testing, and what it allows us to do is really vet you in a better process. Like, no matter what your personality, your external is still the most important. And what I mean by that is, like, what's your social life, the people around you. Like, you have to have whoever they're going to listen to has to be on the same page with you guys. Because if it was an individual sport, I wouldn't care about it.
Of course.
But it's not an individual sport. It's a team sport. Those pieces are important. When we have struggles there, it's normally that we have a disconnect there because they don't have the trust in us or the understanding that we might not be doing what's best for your son basketball-wise, but we're doing what's best for our team. But we're always going to do what's best for your son in every other situation, socially, academically, like being there for him as a person, like being there and being honest with them. So like that piece is important. When it comes to the basketball piece, I always tell every single one of them this, and it always resonates. If you become one of our top 2 to 3 scorers, we're going to run a lot of good shit for you.
For sure.
Like we're going to go get it figured out. We lead the country in stealing from other people. The people say, man, you guys run good stuff. You're like, well, stole this from the Spurs, stole this from Tom Izzo. I stole this from, you know, like people say it all the time to us. Man, you guys run. Now we take it and we incorporate it, but we're professional stealers.
Oh, man. Welcome to the club. No, we know that. That's the language.
That's just the way it is. And so like,
sure.
If they can become one of our top 2 or 3 guys, they're going to like that. So Carson Edwards he's one of my favorites. But he also was a challenge for me, you know, because he couldn't come in to Purdue in that role right away. And then he morphed his way into being an All-American his sophomore and his junior year, and he got that role. But his first year, he wasn't very efficient. He averaged 10 for us, started some, didn't start the other ones. And it'd be like, hey, man, when Big Swanee's got his man on his back,
throw it.
He's got to have it.
Absolutely.
He goes, like every time? I like every time.
Every time.
Like he's got to have it.
Or sit right here.
Yeah.
Come sit here.
And that was hard for him. And like, you know, he had a very narrow look at things, and it really stemmed from his belief in himself. And so like that was hard. And so trying to get guys, I said, you got to get yourself in a role where like you're efficient too. I think that's where it's different when you get guys, when you start talking efficiency with them.
Yeah.
That's the different, because there's a lot of time is volume. Like, you know, I need to get this or I need to get that. When in reality, like, once again, What does the game present? If the game presents that and that's who you are, then God bless you. But if it doesn't present that, you still got to make the right play.
Of course.
Yeah. And so I'm not a fine tooth type guy when it comes to shot selection, but I start off every year, and each one of my assistants, I let them pick whatever they want in their areas, but they can go somewhere out of their area if they want to. We've had a guy do just an hour talk on body language, good in body language, how it comes off, what it looks like to a crowd, what it looks like us to as coaches, what it looks to an NBA scout. But I do mine every single year on shot selection, and it grows. Very tedious stuff, but I talk about different teams. I talk about what's a good shot, what's not a good shot. But we play faster than what people realize. We shoot quicker than what people realize because I think when you get against, when you get against elite people, if you pass up a good shot, people always say take good to great. I think if you pass up a good shot to get to a great one against a great defensive team, you never get there.
Absolutely.
You never get there.
You can be stuck all night.
Yeah,
all
and that's
night.
where my line that I used earlier is like we can't rebound your turnover. But if you take that shot, maybe it's not perfect, maybe it's not awful, but it's in between. Like I don't fine tooth that like right there. As long as that's the right guys. About like when you like, I always go through and show them like don't take your field goal percentage, like take and break down what you have. Like I shoot my pull-ups going to the left. I shoot my pull-ups going to the right. I shoot a 1-dribble pull-up. I shoot a 2-dribble pull-up. I shoot threes off the move. I shoot threes off a ball screen. I shoot threes on step-ins, inside-out stuff in the post. So don't say there's my three-point percentage and I can just do what I want because I shoot 44%, because there's something that's dragging that from 50 to 44. Like don't like
legit,
but something is really good there. Like let's get more of those and less of these, and now let's get to 50%. And that's a crazy statement because 50% would probably be number one in the country, but you're always trying to challenge those guys. Like Fletcher Loyer has been really, really efficient. He should shoot more threes, but he should shoot more good threes. Braden Smith, when it comes back to it from last year, he should shoot more threes too, and because you get analytical.
Of course.
But the game doesn't present you analytics always. Like you know what I mean? Like the runners, the floaters, when the shot clock isn't low, isn't a great play. But yet I had each one more, and he was money on floaters. I wanted him to shoot a floater anytime he wanted to. But I probably had 3 guys in terms of actual floaters: Trey Kaufman-Renn, each one more, and Tyrone Johnson. But the only 3 guys that probably analytically made sense to shoot a floater. But you got to have something in your bag for low clock. And you're like, well, it's not a great percentage. Well, nothing's a great percentage low clock all the time when you get stuck.
Yeah, you got to get it up.
You got to have it. You got to have that in your game. Like you got to have that, but you got to understand you can't do that with 22 seconds on the clock.
Right.
Unless you're one of those 3 guys, right?
Exactly.
And so like getting to all those things and talking through all those things, because every coach's fight is shot selection. Every coach. I don't care if you're playing international basketball, in the NBA, in college, in high school, shot selection. Like, because the one thing about taking good shots and missing them, you're normally going to set your defense still. Now, you make shots, you're going to set your defense because they got to take it out. But the more you can get your offense to get your defense to set up, and now they're looking at 10 eyes, you just made yourself a better defensive team right there. But if you're going to turn it over and take bad shots and play in transition D all the time, oh, man, you're in trouble.
It's going to be tough.
You're in deep trouble. So that's something for us that I really get on right away, but I talk through it. Like I don't get absolute with them and until they have numbers and they have data. Hey, man, this is what you've done for 3 years. This is what you've done for 2 years. This is what. But like Trey Kaufman-Renn, people said, did he surprise you what you did? Like, no, not at all. I saw it every day. But he just had Zebo there, and Zebo needs space, so he has to get out of Zebo's way. And so, like, now the pecking order changes. So when that changes, we've watched all this. We've watched this development. He really just didn't have the opportunity because of Zach and the way he was.
Yes.
And so, like, now when that comes up, like, now when Daniel Jacobson got hurt, like we just went small. We knew we were going to be average in some other areas, but let's be the best offensive team in the country. We weren't, but we were the 7th best offensive team in the country. The year before with Zach, we were the 4th best offensive team in the country. So that's our goal, like for next year, to be the best offensive team in the country. And then we got to make some strides on the defensive end. But our stuff starts in the summer.
Absolutely.
Like we start in the summer. Our foundation starts. We'll get scouting reports and deviate off those scouting reports to go to other things, but not all the time. Like we want to have a foundation of how we do things and what we do and how we go about it. But like we're also going to make our hard work fun. Like our stuff's not a boot camp.
Exactly.
At all. Like our stuff, like people come into our practices and they do stuff and they're like, man, like you don't yell a lot. Like you don't do this a lot. Like you find people that love basketball, that have a competitive spirit about them. And the thing about skilled guys, people don't realize, like the Lord didn't make you more skilled than the next guy. You're more skilled because you put in more time.
Put in more effort, yes.
Yes. And when you get people more skilled in your locker room, they've put in more time, and they're going to continue to put in time, and that's contagious. And now if you don't want to do that, like you send a loud message to me. Like, and I'm not going to yell at you. Like, I'm not going to like be that, but I organically go in another direction.
Absolutely.
I know that because I know that those really, really skilled guys, they got a little bit more to them in terms of how much they care, only because they've invested more. Like that's just, I mean, you can't get a percentage off something you don't invest. Like they've just invested. So that's why Carson was that way. J.I. was that way. They were both of them were emotional. Both of them weren't ready in terms of the responsibilities of everything as a true freshman. They really made a huge jump as a sophomore year, but I never doubted their effort, how much they loved the game. They always put in time. They always loved it, and they always, when emotion wasn't in their body, they always listened. When emotion was in their body, that's hard, and that was their hurdle. And I think that's something through personality testing with Chad Brown and Profile, like that was something for me that allowed me to help them. Like, don't get mad at them. Like, explain to them, like, this is your red wires over your blue wire, brother. Like it's okay.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
I said, but you're going to continue to feel this way. Let's don't continue to handle it that way. Let's learn to handle it. Let's know when we get into these situations that, like, hey, this is how I feel. And so I heard a psychologist say this once at Brad Stevens' one of his clinics up in Boston. And she says, you can feel any way you want to feel. But you can still do your job. Because how many times you say it a year, right? I mean, just do your job. And my thing to our players are, you have a question for me about what do I do after I don't do this? And I always say, let me go back to my phone in the office and I'll send you 5 emoji prayers, because that's the only thing that can help you at this point is prayers. Because we got 5 guys out there and 4 of them just did what they were supposed to and you didn't. You're like, okay, coach, what do I do now? Like, come on.
Sit right here. That's what you do.
And I just said, like, but that's the whole thing. Like, whether you're anxious, your anxiety's at a high level, like whatever it is, you can still do your job. And when you keep it that simple, like, hey, it's all right. But when we talked about when this is going to happen, we're going to down this ball screen. And when they throw it back, now we're going to whip that handoff. And you don't whip and you stay tight. You just rattled our defense. You just disconnected us. All because of what?
Yes.
Yeah, the pressure, or he's talking to you, or your anxiety, you're absent-minded. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know the reason. I know you did it.
Right.
But, like, that's where you got to get guys to be able to process. Because if you can process at a game speed level, and you can do your job and you keep us connected, like, you're just giving us a better chance to win.
And that starts with practice.
Yes.
Yes. In practice, setting the tone. So my question is, when you guys are setting your practice schedule and your practice planning,
right?
Because I'm a deep believer in, if you want to win at a high level, you have to plan practice at a high level.
Yes.
And workouts.
Right.
Yeah. So anytime you are able to put that together as a staff. I know you talked about Brandon being personnel based, PJ offense, your defensive coach. Let's start with defense first, okay? So from a ball screen standpoint, okay, it's time to teach our concepts.
Right.
how do you go about the different concepts? Is it one day we're downing screens? Is it one day we're hedging? You know?
Yeah. Well, we set our foundation right away, and we've had such elite size that we down a lot of things.
Okay.
So like when we get a flat one up top, we send that weak into whatever our command is. So we're not going to let you go both ways with that stand up, screen on top of the key there. So we're going to send you to your weak hand. It could be weak into a switch. It could be a weak into a touching the shoulder, stepping out into a drop. It could be weak into a high hedge. It just depends on who you are and where you are on the court, and then that's your command. When we get outside of the elbows, we're going to try to down as much as we can.
Okay.
And we have not played, you could see it because it's second help, but our first thing is we don't play a deep drop. We touch, we step out, and then we drop. And the 5 can't get behind you, right?
Yes.
If I stop a ball on the baseline, you skip it out opposite, the offensive man then runs and goes and sets a ball screen, and I'm deep then. I've had to do one thing. Now it's the second action. I stop right as he gets to the ball screen wherever I'm at, because you don't want levers. You don't want that guy running up as that guy's going to the rim, and he's just going to get behind you. So now as I'm coming up there to get in ball screen, I stop. Now we'll play a deep drop on those, but that's rare. That might not even happen in a game, but it might happen 4 or 5 times. So we set that. The things that I get to the most right away, the thing that I get to the most right away is the ISO ball screen on the wing. And so how we play it, we zone it off, and it just depends. So if you down it and he pops, now we work on a full rotate if he's a shooter.
Okay, full.
Yeah. If he's not, then I don't even like bluffing anymore, because anytime you bluff, people back cut you.
So you call it bluff. Do you ever call it foot faking?
No.
Okay.
I call it bluff and stay.
Okay, bluff and stay.
A lot of people call it a stunt.
Okay. Yeah,
right? You stunt
too.
at them, yeah. So then if you do it traditional and you can't get it down and he's coming to the middle, he can get his pick and pop to the corner. Well, that's low man. So low man's got to cheat to the block. He's got to go there. And so then we dive a lot of different people out of that, and we drill that from day one. That's the hardest one, in my opinion.
Let me say this, not to interrupt you, but especially when your guys go to the next level where it's defensive 3 seconds.
Right.
And that low man is already involved in the ball screen.
Correct.
So the opposite guy has to stay outside of the lane, so it's a long run.
Yes, sir.
But I love to talk about that, because sometimes when you get college guys, or even, I coached in the W as well as college. And when you go to the W and it's no defensive 3 seconds, that's the biggest thing that college players struggle with.
Right.
That empty side pick and roll.
Yeah.
So
it's
interesting to talk about that.
So we get to it. So our 3 guys, it's funny you call it that. I didn't know what to call it initially when I changed to it about 10 years ago. So we just we establish a low man period. And then we have a nail guy, and he's got to be in relationship with the closest guy. So you just can't let him come off and throw a direct pass. Like, you got to be up. The out guy's the most important guy. So like as he's out there, we call him cover 2.
Cover 2.
Cover 2, because he's going to get in a position where he's going to be in cover 2 no matter what. He takes on that cutter. So if the top guys, say they're just 3 out, okay? If the top guy goes, as he goes, the top guy goes with him, and the out guy comes up a little bit, because you can't have 2 people won't be standing next to each other.
Yes.
So that's, if the 45 guy goes, he's got to go with him to the lane line and push him to the low man.
Yes.
The low man's got to get in front of him, though. We got to get in front of him, and then he pushes back. Then he goes there. If the burn cut from the corner, he goes, that out guy is going to go low and yell at him, but he's really going to stay out. It's not a real pass going in that direction. So we work on that. We work on top guy cut, 45 cut, burn cut, or they stay, and then we mix it up. We might flare the top guy and go out there. So PJ sits out of that drill over by the 3 outs, and PJ doesn't say out loud what he's doing. He just whispers to those guys what to do, because we want to make it as difficult as possible in June.
Absolutely.
Difficult. You're not going to have great success now in July as you grow and you get to be better. So we want to go into the fall and then be good in that scenario, because that's the toughest thing. No different as we flip to offense is like, what gives you the most pressure? Well, if you talk in theory, not pressure, but in theory, pressure gives you the most trouble. I mean, just ultimate in-your-face, tough pressure. But also 5-way switching can cause people in trouble.
Ooh, we talked about that this week.
Yes.
That is
that's a bear.
That's a
and
bear.
So I did our team a disservice, because from Caleb Swanigan to Isaac Haas to A.J. Hammonds, Travion Williams to Zach Edey, if you wanted to switch with us, we were going to manipulate you. We were going to set you up. We were going to drag you out. We were going to let you deny, and we're going to throw the ball. We're just going to throw the ball inside as much as because you're out there switching. Anytime you switch, you take your eyes off the ball for a brief moment.
Of course.
Yes. And so, like, now they're taking away that. We're just going to – I call it killing the dragon. We're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over. And like, we're going to foul your big guy out. We're going to get to that free throw line. We're going to get in that bonus. Now, every person I just mentioned can play. You can't do it with somebody who can't do it. So, like, now Trey Kaufman-Wren is a really good player. He doesn't have elite size to where he's just going to overpower like Johnny Broom. He's going to finesse him. He's going to skill work him. He's going to like get to him, and but he's just not going to overpower. He's not a guy that gets to the free throw line a bunch. And that's how I handle when you switched on us. And we had great success against it. So now when we got to some people, whether it was Texas A&M or Auburn, they gave us trouble. And so as we went to do some different things, PJ did a good job with our spread. A lot of his conversations with Shrews about how to handle it and how to do it, screening your own man, working the seam and driving. We got pretty good at it. We got better. So when we got into the NCAA tournament and McNeese gave Clemson a lot of trouble with it or whatever, we really had made strides in the last 3 months. Again, we were looking forward to playing against them because we felt like, hey, man, we're going to generate some shots here. Like, guys, come on, like, let's get ready. And so, like, that was something for us that didn't start even in December right there. It just got exposed in December. And I just but I openly just told our team, like, this is like on me. Because, like, I could have done more of this in the past, but it didn't matter because people couldn't handle Zebo. People couldn't handle Travion and his ability to pass. Biggie's ability to score and pass it. A.J. Hammonds and Haas just had elite size where they could get you deep. Like, people always talk about our post-up stuff, and I'm like, it's good stuff if you got someone who can catch the ball at 7 feet.
Of course.
But if you're at 12 feet, it don't matter.
No.
And now they got ball side scrapes. They got people messing with it. You don't have to double, like make your jump hook at 12 feet. Like you can have it. Like there's just not a lot of people that can make consistent jump hooks at 12 feet.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of
so
course.
like that's a lot of different stuff for us. Like as you kind of get through the summer, like you're working on things, but you're also backing up and just like let this organically happen, man.
Right.
Individually and team wise.
What do you do with your posts? I mean, because the reason I say that is because you have elite posts every year, and whether they come in elite or they end up leaving elite,
right?
They are across the country.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about the Purdue post players.
Right.
So, do you have a regimen? Is it something that you do different than everybody else? And obviously recruiting, but
I would say the difference that we do is schematically, we throw them the ball.
Yeah.
We stay consistent with it, but it goes back to what I said before, like you got to be one of our top 2 or 3 scorers. And if you're not, then we're not going to do that. Like you got to put yourself in that position. We've been fortunate enough to sign really good players. Brandon Brantley's done a fabulous job with our big guys. He gives them time. He watches film with them. He stays on them. He holds them accountable. He builds a relationship. But he knows what he's doing. And so, like, that piece of it, has really helped us, and we're bringing him a good product too. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah, recruit.
Yeah. So we've brought a good product with him, like to him, and he's not the only one. Coach Johnson's down there working with him, but he's just been with us for a long time.
Of course.
And it's also the stature of somebody with size that played 10 years overseas.
He was a heck of a player.
Yeah.
He played actually for me in the CBA.
Yeah. Him and Chandler, right?
Him and Chan Thompson.
So I played with Chandler in a third grade league.
Did you?
I was a second grader. He was a third grader.
Was he dunking then?
No, he was little. Chandler didn't grow until high school. He was little.
Yeah.
But he was good. Chandler was good when he was younger, and then like when he just didn't grow, like he just sat on the bench his freshman and sophomore years. He was a little squirrely.
No doubt.
But then he was great, man. To see where he was in the beginning of his junior year, I'll never forget like reading the paper and seeing that. I was like, man. And my dad's known him. My dad coached YBA. My dad coached little kids basketball. So my dad knew him. I said, man, my dad and I were talking like, man, Chandler going to take off here.
Yeah.
So it was fun to watch.
That is good.
It was fun.
You came up with him. We talk about each other all the time.
Yeah.
So
that was great.
Yeah, Brandon is doing an excellent job. I wanted to ask you about this too. So, now that you're on the defensive side of the ball, offensively, just putting in your concepts, putting in different things. I know it's a lot early on during the summer.
It's a lot.
But let's say it's time to go October 15th. Like it's time to go.
Yeah.
What does a practice look like for you?
Yeah, so we will I taper it so like I don't get to where we practice long early. We don't do a lot of conditioning anymore. We'll do like once a week in the summer. We do a lot of strength training. We do a lot of basketball movement type stuff. And then obviously we ramp it up in the fall in the weight room. But like we still do about once or twice a week.
Is there a reason why?
You're starting in June and you're trying to finish in April. And as time's going on, like Braden Smith's doing more work maybe when I'm not there for when I'm there. So like when you get like guys that are like Fletcher Lawyer's like doing major work in May. Major work. Like working out with his agent, working out with different guys, going different places. Trey Kaufman-Ring goes off in Marion with the guy that he works out with. That was one of my managers. And he's doing 2-a-days for like 3 weeks.
Okay.
And so like why you have to be in the top shape starting the season, I always thought you just had to. But it doesn't make it like you don't have to.
If you really think about it.
If you really think about it. And the other thing to think about is like who are you coaching? Like if you have fast twitch muscle guys like J.I., J.I. is going to recover. But if you get guys that aren't fast twitch muscles, like, I always look at it like a track meet. Like, what are you running in a track meet? Well, this dude's like, them big dudes are throwing a discus. Like, they're not going to recover the same way as this guy running the 100. I used to always joke with each one. He didn't think it was funny, but each one was such a good basketball player. But I'd say if a track meet broke out, you'd have to work the concession stand. Like, you ain't got nothing to run, brother. Like, whatever. He'd just, like, look at me like, but we'd run the mile. He'd give everything he had, and he had to make it in 5:30, and he'd get 5:28.
Do it. Oh, he did?
He'd do it.
What?
Pride, man.
Okay.
Because he had, that's what I'd say. Like, you got pride. You don't have a great stride. You don't have this.
Yeah.
But when the game started, like, his feel, his understanding, his ability to score, like, just a really, really good basketball player. And so.
Awesome basketball player.
Oh, really knows how to play, man.
Yeah.
Really, really worked hard and just had a great career. So, so for us, like, trying to get our practices as they kind of get to that point, there's a lot of work up to that point. So they got to know our vernacular. So I'm not going to get off of that in terms of, do you really know what we're saying? I always relate it to like having your own kids, and you tell them what to do, and then you're like, all right, what'd I say? Right. Like, all right, Daddy, say it again. Like, you're like, I thought you said you knew what was up.
Right.
No, Dad, say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Well, players ain't any different.
Right.
And like, you tell me what's up. And then like some guys are like, they'll just rip it off. You're like, all right, damn, you look like you're not listening.
Right.
You got it. Like,
LeBron out here.
Yeah. You're like, man, you got it. Like, and then some guys don't. So we give them some quizzes at that time. Like, we want to know in September, like, what do you know? We start off when practice starts, and we go about 4 to 5 weeks, twice a week in the morning, and then we put in stuff before then, but then we put in everything. We're putting in everything. So it just gets out there, and PJ runs it, and we go 2 ends, and the coaches split up. And besides PJ talking, anytime he's got to put something in, he can speak, really. But if we're going through things we've already done, like, they got to speak on it.
Okay.
And then we're always, when a shot goes up, it's all dry. When shots go up, okay, who's our safety? Who's picking the ball up? Who's rebounding? So then they have places to be. So now you're programming them for transition defense, because it's so important. You're programming them for offensive rebounding. You're programming them when things break on a play for them to communicate, because you can't do it at that point in the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, and shit's going to happen.
What are you calling those positions? Ball stop?
Oh, what we do, we call the guy who gets to the nail, we call him the jammer.
Jammer,
safety rebounders.
Jammer, safety rebounders.
Yep, and so sometimes we get 2 back, sometimes we get 1 back. Our point always picks up.
Okay.
And then sometimes, about 80% of the time we're picking up, about 20% of the time, if we don't like the matchup and we need to do it in the half court,
Sprint.
We used to have Braden pick up. He doesn't pick up anymore just because we have him do so much. We don't want to wear him down.
Of course. That makes sense.
So like Fletch, you're not going to see Fletch have offensive rebounds because he's our safety. Those guys that live on the arc, they need to be your safeties. They're not always in great positions to rebound. And if they're not, someone has to be back, right? So like you have to be able to do it. So we're incorporating that as we do it. But we start in June and July and we put stuff in. And so like, defensively, like, you got to be intact with your ball screen defense and your post defense and your vernacular and how you handle things. How do you handle the post? What are you going to do in the post? What are you going to do in your ball screens? Like, you got to be great in those areas. But then when it comes to offense, like, everyone's going to touch it when you run a lot of stuff. Like, a lot of times people say, like, what's the problem here? And like, well, we stink at passing and catching. And you think it's some like, hey, you got to run this, you got to run this, you got to run this. No, like when you start off, when guys work on their games and they get away from you or whatever, you'd be surprised. Like, hey, man, like if we can pass and catch, we're going to make some strides. But until then, like, you're like, damn, that's a pretty basic fundamental of the game. But like you get away from some things, using 2 hands, concentrating, like doing some basic stuff. Like, and so we're always constantly, like our big dudes, like, they say, like, what do you do differently with big dudes? If you ask them what our number 1 rule is, every one of them will tell you, if I'm one-on-one, I score. Because I want to instill that in you.
Yeah.
I want to instill that. Now, are we going to sit there and shoot 100 jump hooks and work on counters and do – yeah, sure. But in a game, man, you don't got all the time in the world.
Instinctively.
If you're one-on-one,
yeah,
let it rip. If you're not, and they're coming to double you, now we can set things up and how we're going to – because we're trying to stay out of rotations and we're trying to get you in rotations. Because most people are good in their stuff. They're not great in rotations. Rotations are difficult.
It is. Because it's instinctive.
And that's why everybody switches.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we're going to force you to play a different way. We're going to do this. But the progression of practice really just kind of stems there as we grow our defense and we grow our offense. But it's like – You got to blend your practice. Like you can't stop and talk forever. You can stop and talk and teach, but you got to keep it moving.
Absolutely.
So you got to get breakdown. You got to get full court. You got to get breakdowns. You got to get full court. You got to get a couple breakdowns. You got to get back to full court. You got to we always throw in our 5-minute 3, sometimes at the beginning, sometimes the middle, sometimes the end. It kind of breaks the monotony of a practice. Like you got to figure out different ways to teach the same stuff.
Of course.
Yeah, just to have the competitive spirit. So we're always doing competitive games. Like in the summer, we do set games, out of bounds games, side out of bounds games. And then I tell the defensive guys, like, this is yours here defensively, but you can't stop it. It's live. So we play to a score. So if you run your side out of bounds and you get it, and we'll play for 15 minutes, we do everything second turnover loss. So your team's cooking my team 17-4. There's 4 minutes on the board. You commit the second turnover, suicide. Yeah. We'll go get a drink.
For sure.
And you had us down 13. It just teaches them the score changes How many times do you play and you get a 10-point lead, and then all of a sudden you do stupid shit, and all of a sudden the game's tied because you got away from what you did to get your 10-point lead? Of course. That's just human behavior. That's just natural stuff that a player, like, you just naturally, subconsciously, like, get yourself there. And you're like, damn, why'd I do that? Well, if you don't set that table for them, like, hey, man, you're up 17-4 here. Like, but you got a turnover. So we're always in there like, hey, man, you got a turnover. Like, you can't have another turnover here.
Right.
So we play that. And then sometimes when you play to a score, like now you're in transition a couple, 2 or 3 times until you get there, because they all think they're ready to play a game, and they're not.
Right.
They're not. Then all of a sudden, like, hey, man, we just went up and down the court 2 or 3 times, and you are gassed. You are. I thought you were in shape. I thought you're ready to, like you don't look like you're in shape. And so, like, that piece of it for us is just letting things just kind of grow naturally and be able to talk. Because if you run good stuff offensively, you got to stick to your rules defensively, and you're going to get off of them. And right as we get off of them, now they're just our offense is going to be better in June than our defense.
Of course,
right?
of course.
So now we just, like, we really go after them and talk about our breakdowns and show our breakdowns and show, like, okay, let's make a stride, the next day.
One of the things that I've done as a head, I've done this with my late game. I would like to do them the first 5 or 10 minutes before practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we come in and we do it. Do you ever do it in the beginning of practice?
No, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they're fresh.
Because they're fresh.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you have to execute at a high level.
Right.
And you got to get a better feel for,
right,
like, execution. Because at the end, obviously, we know you guys are tired. We're going to make you do this because it's, blah, blah, blah. But I'm telling you, that's an effective way. And another thing I do as a head is I would like to practice halftime. It's different,
right?
But you got to listen to me because it's very, very effective. So you go in a quarter, you go in the second quarter. You know how every team comes out. If you're good in the third, you got a good chance of winning.
Right.
If you're bad in the third, you got a pretty good chance of losing.
Right.
So what I like to do is, we wouldn't go in a locker room, but we would take that time to maybe sit there. Yeah, sit there, maybe look at something on the board, maybe talk a little bit. And then once you come back out, make it a super consequence for losing the third quarter.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That makes a whole lot of sense.
Yes.
Makes a whole lot of sense. Because you're just framing it towards how a game is.
Absolutely.
On the fatigue piece, the psychological piece that leads to, can you execute? Can you do your job? Like all the things we've discussed.
For sure. Yep. Culture, your culture piece. How do you develop that? Obviously you need big time leadership, but if you just had to give tips on how do I get my culture in the right place?
I think people that talk about culture a lot don't have it.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And, your culture is really what the standards of excellence that you set. Like what are your standards? Like, got to be on time. Got to hold guys accountable. But, like, you also got to be accountable as a coach too.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm big on that. Like, there's a couple times a year I mess up. There's a couple times a year I take the blame when I don't mess up.
Yeah.
And they might not, like, damn, like a couple of them, like Fletch and them will know. Like, they'll know. Like, hey, man, that wasn't his fault.
Right.
But, like, sometimes it is your fault. When it is your fault, you got to own it because you expect them to own it. It's the only way you can fix things if you own it. But then there's times, like, you got to take it for them. Like, that's a lot of what I don't like. People say, these guys are making money. They're doing this. And, man, they're still really young.
Kids.
And that's just – and even if you're not young and you're older and say you're 30 years old and you're in the league and I was coaching in the league, I'd still take it. Like, they're the player. Like, take it for them. Like, that's just – they know. The right player knows.
Of course.
But, like, the culture is really just like, like, you can't negotiate. Like, you can negotiate, like, how you, like, go about some things, like, and playing the game and, like, tactical and, like, shit like that. Like, but, like, not about, like, standards of, like, this is how we're going to go to class. We're going to be on time. Like, we're going to work on our game, like we're going to do things. But like if you get to where you've taken people that fit, it sets itself. See, what a lot of times people don't understand is that, like, I know exactly what I want. I just always can't get it. Mm-hmm. Like, this isn't a draft. Mm-hmm. Like Notre Dame women's basketball, they ain't drafting.
Right.
They're recruiting.
Hell yeah. You got to recruit.
They're recruiting. Mm-hmm. And then when you get somebody and you spent 2 years, and then you get them and they leave after a year, and then you spent 2 months on somebody, like, you knew that other person better. Mm-hmm. And then once you get them after 2 months, and like I always say, there was a surprise. You just want it to be a positive surprise.
Right. Well,
there's a surprise. And it might not even be the kid. It might be someone around them.
Oh, my God.
And then it's like, hey, man, like we're coaching a team here. Like, yes, we got to hold them accountable. They say, well, you know, if you have kids, like you raised each one of them at a different time in your life. Mm-hmm. So, like, you're a little different. Like, you're hopefully evolving as a person, as a parent, as a coach. You're getting better.
Yeah.
Like, Robbie Hummel always busts my chops and says the guy I played for doesn't coach here anymore because I just
you're nice.
I was just on it. Like, I just thought like that was the way you had to be demanding at all times.
Of course. It's a different landscape now.
Yes,
it's different, man.
And I just said, hey, man, the dudes that didn't change, I said, they go in your business. Mm-hmm. I said, I don't mind being in your business. I just don't want to be in your business right now. I want to be, I want to coach.
Absolutely.
I go, and so like as they change, you got to change with them, but you can still hold them accountable. The one thing it's like getting guys is like when they don't do what they're supposed to, like don't yell at them. You don't have to yell at them, but hold them accountable. Mm-hmm. There's a consequence.
Yeah.
There's a consequence because if they get at 22 years old and they've made poor decisions and there's been no consequences, man, you have done them an injustice. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to yell at them. You don't have to do anything, but, like, we got to do something.
It's a way to do it.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
And you got to figure out, like, I've had dudes that can just run with the wind. Mm-hmm. I'll go run 10 suicides in 10 minutes. They laugh at me.
Right.
You got to find something else for him.
Right.
You got to find something else for him. David Teague was one, man. Hey, Coach, we done? We cool? Everything good? I'm like, man, how aren't you like breathing heavy? You just ran 10 suicides. I'm straight, Coach. Appreciate you, baby. I'll be like, dang, that didn't.
Dave T. That's funny, man. And
he was great. Like he was a good dude, good player, like good person. Like I really enjoyed. He ended up being a two-way player.
Yeah.
And it was a hard transition because he played for Coach, then played for me, and he was great. He got us to our first NCAA tournament. So.
Man, he came and ripped it down in Indy in the pro-am.
He's not scared.
Oh no.
No, he is not scared.
No. Then we had a IU versus Purdue alumni game.
Oh, there you go.
For the pro-am.
Right.
And he came in, put on a show. Oh my God.
Oh, when he gets it and the stars are lined.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can get it going. I've been with USA basketball for a long time, like 2000. When was that? 2009 maybe. 2008 might be my first year. I've been an assistant. I've been a head coach a couple times. I've helped out with the select team who practices against the World Cup team and practices against the Olympic team. And but like I've been on the committee for 13 years. I just got off the committee. I was the chair of the committee for 8-9 years. So you see Jaylen Brown when he's 16. You see Jason Tatum when he's 16, 17. Like you see Miles Turner here in Indianapolis. You see him as a 18, 19-year-old. So you see all these great ones at a young age when they're pretty vulnerable, right? Mm-hmm. And so, like, you know, Miles Turner is from Texas. Jason Tatum's from St. Louis. Jaylen Brown's from Atlanta. So you see him on circuits, but you don't know him. Mm-hmm. Even when you're on that committee and you don't coach, you don't know him. You might say hello to him. You might have a brief encounter, but you see their ways. You see how they are, but they're kids, and now you watch them like grow, and you like see them like helping out with the select team for the World Cup team. So the only two guys on the World Cup team, I think, were Tyrese Halliburton and Anthony Edwards that made the Olympic team, and then just to have that group of guys that are all majority of them in their first contract, then practice against them. And then the next year they come back, and some of the same guys, and a couple of them were different. But now you're going against, when we were there, Kevin Durant was hurt. Kawhi Leonard was with the team. LeBron played. Anthony Edwards played. Steph Curry played. And so, but what got me was kind of their process and their workouts and how everyone has that, right? Like what you do on a daily basis as a player, that is your rituals that you do. And so like seeing Steph go do his for a half an hour, or go see Kevin Durant work out with a couple other guys as he was trying to get back healthy, and do it. And then seeing Anthony Edwards, like with his like guys, a lot of times they have their own guys there, sometimes not. But just seeing them, because you think, and you know, like, man, it's the work it takes to get to that level. Like you just don't like I always tell those guys, when I coached one of the USA teams before, LeBron used to have a skills academy in Akron, and it was around the same time he was announcing going to Miami. So but he had about 7 or 8 guys working, college guys, that were going to be in our trials, and I was going to coach the World University Games that year. And so I wanted to stay and watch him. So LeBron was there with his high school guys he played with in high school, and they would play against these college guys. And a couple of LeBron's guys were in shape and were pretty good, and a couple of them were out of shape. You know, there's just his high school team.
Of course.
I think that was his high school team. If not, it was a couple of guys that he was close with in high school, and then a couple other guys from the area. But it looked like his high school team. And I was amazed how he dominated with his voice. You know, here I am. I've played college basketball. I've been in coaching for 20 years at the time. And I just went, that's what I took back to our guys. I said, like, this is the greatest player here on the planet right now. And he just dominated a pickup game with his voice.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, we're going to switch this. We're going to handle this ball screen this way. We're going to get in the post. This happens with him. Okay, some guy had hit a shot or whatever. Okay, don't leave him. Like he just like, and he just, obviously he can make plays, and he can, like, these are college kids. Like, you know what I mean? But that's how he dominated. He talked the whole time. The whole time. I said, man, he just made every single one of those guys a better player. And I said, this is pickup. It's pickup, but it meant something to him. And that's what I took to him. I just said, like, hey, man, when we're playing pickup, like, we got to be functional. Like, if you don't shoot threes, you can't shoot threes. Like, if you don't dribble, you can't, like play to your strengths. Sure, you want to work on things. I'm not trying to take that away. I go, but if winning that pickup game doesn't mean shit to you, like, man, I don't know if you're in the right place. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, people say, like, this don't matter. It's a pickup game. Like, hell, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, this is what you are, man. You're a winner. Like, winning's important to you. If you get beat by your nephew and sorry, or, you know, Yahtzee or Go Fish, like,
it's a fight.
You ain't got to, like, kick them or fight them or nothing, but, like, there's something inside you, like, damn.
Definite. Competitors have it.
Yes.
For sure.
And, like,
Sure.
that's what you want on your team. But now once you get there, if you're just going to sit there and be meek and be quiet and not like, hey, man, your personality is your personality. You want to be quiet off the court, man, cool. But, like, your personality can't be your competitive personality. Like, you got to let it rip, man. Whatever's on your mind should be on your lips.
Impose your will out here when you're playing with us.
And so, like, things of that nature, when you've been around, like, I played with Glenn Robinson, and, like, he would do some things. Like, when I was 21 years old, I'd be like, whoa, like,
big dog,
like, damn.
Crazy.
I mean, he is shooting a pull-up step through from 18 feet.
Yeah.
And the dude's right there. Like, what are you doing? Then bang, bang.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, that's what he's doing. Like, that's what. So, like, I've been around that, like, but, like, but that's been the best. Like, seeing those guys as young guys in USA basketball and then seeing them grow. I always say this about the worst player there. The worst player there is normally great.
Yeah.
In my first couple of years, I didn't realize that. I'd see somebody, I'm not going to say names, I'd be like, he's terrible. I'm like, man, that dude's not here. He's here because of this, or there's something political going around. And then all of a sudden, 5 years later, you're like, Yeah, he scored 2,100 points in college. You'd be like, and he was
Oh,
terrible.
that's him?
Like
Right.
terrible. You'd be like, man, he's here because his dad played in the league.
Of course.
He's here because, like, he's friends with this guy here. Then all of a sudden, like,
Yeah.
he's 3-time first team, All-American or whatever. Like, I mean, it was just, it's been amazing to be able to be around that. And then to get, people beat up young people all the time. They just don't know. But to get them to understand, like, hey, man, like, playing for your high school is important. Like, have some pride. Like, playing for your college that's important, man. Like, but playing for your country,
That's
like, you get to play
another
for your country.
Yeah.
And so, like, you should see all the gear I got, like USA gear. I'm like, man, I averaged 4 points in college. Like, I'm the luckiest dude in the world to be able to be there because, like, to me, like, it's a player's game.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, when the
For sure.
coach becomes bigger than the players, and no. And that's what's cool about being at Purdue is that, like, I'm the basketball coach. I use my platform to help in other areas, but I'm the basketball coach.
Of course.
I'm not the AD.
Of course.
Like, I'm not the president. I'm not the board of trustees, the president, like that. When you get into college situation and the football coach or the basketball coach has more power than those guys, it's education.
Of course.
It's an institution of education.
Yes.
It's been there for 100 years. Like, because you got a couple nice out of bounds plays, now you got some stroke on campus here. Like,
Exactly.
man.
Yeah.
So, like, that to me, like, I've always tried to, like, just to stay in my lane.
Hey, well, listen, I wanted to make sure that we got together. We talked about it before. I wanted to make sure that we got together. I want to, on the show, to just kind of just give knowledge,
Right.
because that's exactly what this platform represents. We're going to continue to push this type of content. I have several more coaches on here like yourself, but I just appreciate you taking the time to jump
no
on,
problem.
man. And I know we can share basketball stories forever, man. But
There you go.
I appreciate you, and I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
With your team, with your program. And, a lot of the guys that I'm close to has been through your program. I got a lot of guys that I'm close to are on your staff right now, So I just appreciate it, Coach. I really thank you for coming by and giving us some good jewels.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Is there anything you have to say to any of the youngsters out there, as far as, pursuing their dreams and seeing exactly what it takes to get here?
Yeah. I would say more than anything, like, the thing that I think they've made a really done a good job of, it kind of gets put down a little bit, but I don't look at it this way, is their individual work. Like, I wish I would have had that more. I had a full court basketball court in my backyard, 50-foot slab, floodlights. I hooped all day long.
Damn.
But no one taught me how to work. Like, I didn't have a pull-up game. I didn't, like nobody taught, like, they just didn't. Like, it wasn't, I played all the time. So that's how, like, from, like Chandler, Tony Banks, Michael Adams, like, I played on an AAU team, a younger AAU team. But, like, these guys were always just playing everywhere, whether it was at the Y or the Boys Club or Heacon Park, McCullough Park, my high school, at another high school. Like, we're searching out games. These guys don't play enough.
Yeah, for
They
sure.
don't. Guys who play pickup know angles. They know angles defensively. They know angles offensively. You just learn.
Yes.
When you talk about a guy that never played organized basketball and always played in a park, they know angles. They know how to play. They know how to disrupt. Like, you could get them in an organized game and really draw out their stuff, but there's something to take from that. Like, and that's what I would tell a younger guy to do, is that you still got to play. And what helped me was going and playing at the Boys Club, going and playing at the Y, going and playing different places where I wasn't the best player.
Yeah.
I wasn't the most talented player. I wasn't the most athletic. I wasn't an athletic player anyways. But, like, you have to learn to be quick. And if you can't be physically quick, you damn sure better be mentally quick. And the only way to be mentally quick is to play against people that are physically quicker, faster, stronger than you. And that's how you gain. Now your skill and your mental quickness is what makes you a player. And, like, but you're not going to get there unless you play. Everything doesn't have to be organized. Like, you just have to understand, like, that can't be everything that you do. So you mix in your skill work and your individual work and all that stuff. You have a trainer and all that. That is great. It can't be your only work growing up. And like when you play pickup or you play, like you learn how to play. Like you learn, but like you find me someone that understands how to cheat on a score and do like whatever. Like it's just about winning. Like it's just about winning.
Right.
And that's what like you have to. If you've never been in scenarios where you lose and you got to wait 45 minutes, then you haven't been in a scenario because like you're young. Like you just can't stay on a court. Like we recruited Blake Wesley, and Derek Wesley was a senior in college when I'm a young high school guy, junior in college. He's in there somewhere. And he's like, oh, yeah, man, I remember when you used to come around or whatever. I'm like, yeah, and you all didn't let me play. Like you didn't let me play.
Right.
And they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't have, but like that was that. Like that was their runs. Like and so like if you've never been someone who like sat on a sideline and tried to get in somewhere and didn't get in, then man, you're not helping yourself because now it's like there's just that carrot in front of you. You got to get better.
Right.
Like I got to be able to play in this game here. I got to be so like I've known Chandler since Chandler used to go and steal the corkscrews at the Y because Chandler was little. So Chandler would take them goals down, and him and Michael and Tony Banks, like they would go and have dunk contests. They take the goals down. Then they go hide the corkscrew because the guy who ran the Y would be like, who's taking these goals down?
Right.
So then he couldn't get the corkscrew to take them back up. And so then but like those guys were just always around. Like they were just always around. They were always playing. They were always searching for games. And we were trying to do the same thing. We were trying to get it figured out. And my mom lived on Ball State's campus. So like I used to walk over late at night and play pickup because the top side door up there wouldn't lock. So then I just get in there. Then I use the emergency light and I just shoot because like at time I just wanted to shoot inside. Like you're so used to shooting outside.
Of course.
It's 11:30 at night.
That was a treat. To
Yes.
get an inside gym.
No doubt. No doubt. So like that's what I would tell young people, man.
Yeah.
Like keep doing. I'm not telling you to stop doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. But like just playing pickup against the guys that you're with in high school, like never miss one of your open gyms at high school. Never. I'm not saying that because that's your guys. But like that's what's so cool about Indy because you got Indies players, you got IUPUI's players, you got Butler's players, you got the Pacers, you got guys trying to make it. Then it's kind of got some people that stay there in the summer too. A lot of overseas guys. There's just you got to find your game.
Absolutely.
And your game can't be at the same level. So if you're a high school guy trying to make it, you got to play against some college guys. You're a college guy trying to make it, you got to play against some pros. And don't look at some guy with the Milwaukee Bucks or the Pacers as only pros. Like when you see those guys overseas, man, you have no idea. I always talk about a G League game. I'd be like, when you grab 24 guys on 2 G League teams and everyone's got a story, half of them have probably been drafted. You're looking at them as a G League guy. They look at themselves as an NBA guy. Like you guys have no idea. Like this guy's the 7th best player in the country, and he's 18.
Tough.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough league, man.
Super.
It's a tough league, and so like whoever you are, you got to go above. It's like those guys overseas. Like sometimes they're like, "Hey, man, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm going to do. I know there's no pathway for me back, but if there's a pathway for me back, now they're like." Hey, I got to get myself through here.
Of course.
This can't just be my agent. This has got to be other people working for me, and I got to get in front of them, and I got to play, and I got to do that. That's if you're that way as a young person, like it's like watching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, and he's creating things for an angle, and he's the best. And he's creating things like that. That's some of that stuff ain't real. Like he's just creating those angles to get himself motivated. So he, so
of course,
yeah. So he can beat people
up.
because that's what he wants. Like
sure.
you have to have that to you, and whoever you are, like you got to get yourself in there. But the ability to play against people better than you, and find those games, like kids aren't doing it as much. They're not playing pickup as much, and you see it when you start talking about stuff and reads and looking at things, and because you're going to get into ball screen reads with a workout guy. You're going to get into some basic stuff, but you're just going to get into like some cat just jumping you.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Some guy just bum rushing you and jumping you like, hey man, you can't like hell he can't.
The workout is predictable.
Yes.
Like, we understand this is scripted. This is what's about. Yeah.
No
You're
doubt.
exactly right. Just had that conversation lately with someone.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, pleasure. It has been a pleasure to listen, to get some nuggets that we can share with the world, man. And I really, again, appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. All right, man.
Oh,
Thank you.
I'm a warrior. Anything you place in front of me, I'll be victorious.